Prime Minister now has departed Isro and he will be on his way back to the airport very, very shortly to leave and return to Delhi. Nagarjun Dwarkanath is live with me. Naga, Shiv Shakti Point. That's going to be the big talking point today. Shiv Shakti Point and August 23rd as National Space Day. One was expecting that there would be something to share by the Prime Minister, but these have been some, big, heavy punches, big announcements by the Prime Minister, Naga.
Absolutely true. In fact, till now, when we wanted to talk about the location of Chandrayaan-3 lander that has landed, we were only giving the latitudes and the longitudes coordinator. We didn't have any name as such. It was a surprise for all of us that Prime Minister would announce it at this point of time. We thought ISRO would tweet it later or so. But Shiv Shakti point being declared where Chandrayaan-3 Vikram lander landed, and Tiranga where Chandrayaan-2 lander crash landed. So big takeaways from today. And also it's about the morale boost as to what can ISRO achieve in the coming further days. Prime Minister spoke about how it has not just encouraged the scientific community in India but globally, and he's received appreciation on behalf of the scientists wherever he goes and whoever he talks to as well. And National Space Day on 23rd of August. Shiv, if you hear his 40-minute of speech, it was not just congratulatory messages to the scientists, but also a future plan about how youth should get into space sector, how the governance can happen through ISRO's coordination, how a hackathon should be encouraged, space hackathon, so that more and more kids, children, youngsters can come in to space sector, and how ISRO can take it forward as well. If I can show you the visuals, I think the Prime Minister convoy is coming out of the ISRO command center, and you can see all the Karyakartas of BJP still assembled here. They have not left the spot as of now. As we speak, you can see all of them behind the barricades. Like protocol, we have been cordoned off as well. Any moment, the Prime Minister who had entered ISRO command center around 7:30 is expected to leave. Yes, Shiv, I can see the visuals right here. The black car of the Prime Minister, that's the Prime Minister. There he is leaving in that car. You can see the Prime Minister sitting in the front seat, Shiv, waving at people, and he's left the ISRO center as we speak, ISRO command center. You can see the Prime Minister waving at people as well, trying to say bye to them, because all of them had come early in the morning from 5 o'clock. All of them have been stationed here because of SPG protocol. They could not come later as such. So officially we have got visual confirmation that the Prime Minister has left ISRO command center as well. We heard both ISRO chairman and ISRO chairman and Prime Minister talk about how there's a historic statement. India is on the moon, and that still gives me goosebumps whenever I hear that statement, because I was there when Mr. Somnath said it so immediately after the soft landing was done. For any space buff or scientific buff, it's a big day. National Space Day announced, and also the lat long, which we knew for moon's landing, has been now declared as Shiv Shakti as well as Tiranga.
Amazing. Shiv Shakti Point, Tiranga Point. Akshita also with us. Akshita was also in Bengaluru on August 23rd. Akshita, it becomes National Space Day, Shiv Shakti Point. What's going through your mind? One wasn't expecting such a barrage of big announcements by the Prime Minister. He totally delivered.
It was worth waking up early in the morning for this shift, that's for sure. 23rd August is a day I'm never going to forget. And I think the nation won't forget now, because every year we're going to mark it as National Space Day, which is so fitting. And I think the Prime Minister, when he got emotional, when he spoke about India being on the moon, like Nagarjun said, essentially echoed what all of us have been feeling for so long, and what we've all wanted to express to ISRO, that, you got us so emotional, you got us welled up with tears of joy, that moment when Chandrayaan-3 touched down on the moon's surface. So while the Prime Minister wasn't there that day, he was, of course, there virtually. He's touched down today and ensured that he expressed the nation's emotions to the scientists at ISRO. And the announcements that he's made, when he's spoken about, pushing forward space exploration, space tech, it's a huge deal, Shiv, because I think as a country now, we're all so in that fervor of space because of Chandrayaan-3. But now what the Prime Minister has done is ensure that we work on that momentum and ensure that, we kind of keep the focus on space tech. There's been a lot of talk internationally about, whether India should be doing this, whether we should be investing in space. The Prime Minister's message is very, very clear that we're going to continue doing so. We're going to continue ensuring that interest, the passion that's kind of, been garnered across the nation right now with Chandrayaan-3 builds up also to much bigger missions for our Isro scientists, because they've proven very clearly they can do it. It's only that backing now that we have to continue providing to them, which the Prime Minister said will 100% be there.
There was a moment where the Prime Minister also kind of choked and got emotional, Akshita. I think we have that soundbite. I'm just going to check with our producers if we have that. The Prime Minister, for a brief moment, his voice broke as he got a little emotional. I need my producers to confirm to me whether we have that moment ready so I can play that out. Do we have that soundbite of the Prime Minister? Okay, okay. Let's just play that out. I want to talk to Akshita about that. Here's when the Prime Minister's voice broke.
आप सबको सैल्यूट करना चाहता था। सैल्यूट आपके परिश्रम को, सैल्यूट आपके धैर्य को, सैल्यूट आपकी लगन को, सैल्यूट आपकी जीवटता को, सैल्यूट आपके जज्बे को।
ये लाल तस्वीर Akshita, that was an emotional Prime Minister. His voice broke. You could see his lips quiver for a second. It seemed like he was, about to break down. He obviously was overwhelmed by the moment, it seemed like, and I don't blame him. We were all overwhelmed on August the 23rd as well. I know I was in the studio, and I can imagine what it must have been like sitting in front of all those heroes there. And there was a definite amount of emotion in the Prime Minister's speech, also in the naming of the Chandrayaan-2 landing site. The Prime Minister was also there in 2019 and calling it Tiranga. So this is, this goes beyond just, a Prime Minister-ISRO relationship. This was very human, what we saw.
That emotion, Shiv, I think is something we all felt, because I'm not sure about you, but I'm sure most of the viewers also will agree that, that moment when Chandrayaan-3 touched down on the moon surface, all of our eyes welled up. It was with pride, it was with joy for our scientists also, because I think we all felt so terrible after what happened in 2019, that moment when the then ISRO chief, Mr. K. Sivan, had broken down and the Prime Minister hugged him. So that emotion was so real and raw for all of us. The Prime Minister witnessed that first.